Welcome back for video game news. As always, today I thought I'd try to look at least a little bit neater with a dress shirt and stuff on. Talking a little bit briefly in this video, won't be talking anything about most standard stuff I usually talk about in video game news related videos. This time I'm looking at more a business side of things, look at some of the basic figures and numbers to get a better idea. This video will be strictly about Activision Blizzard, and of course the fact that it was purchased basically in cash, though of course it will be at least close to a year and a half, around June next year, before it finishes up the official deal and agreement, because they have to go through the whole process of getting approval from the FCC as well as other government agencies and divisions for business in order to actually approve the buyout slash merger of the companies. Have to get federal approval first for that before it's official. So yeah, that's why it will take probably towards late spring, early summer 2023 before we see the official, but nevertheless, the official starting process has already happened. And of course, the positives, I think I speak for many of us when I say I look forward to once officially Phil Spencer takes over Activision Blizzard, because it means that we may finally be rid of Bobby Kotick, which is arguably the most despised and most hated CEO rather, in video games. Of course, basically he's been at the helm running Activision Blizzard for a decade. The company and many questionable business tactics, as well as, of course, many other things. There's definitely been quite a few allegations of sexual harassment and many other things, which honestly I would not be surprised given the history of Bobby Kotick in general. Also, a fun fact, before he would take over Activision Blizzard in the 2000s, he was the CEO head of a small English dub company in the 2000s called 4Kids Entertainment. Yes, Bobby Kotick was the head of 4Kids Entertainment for several years, in fact. It was under him that actually it would end up thriving, and for a while there would be basically the top, and basically being the top challenger to Funimation's power and influence for quite a while there, and would of course heavily end up doing English dubs of many big name animes, but specifically Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of the biggest, arguably, as well as Pokemon. But with that said, now let's look a bit more on the more business side of things, some basic economic stuff, looking at with Activision Blizzard for a second to get a better idea of overall how big it is actually as a company. First up, let's look at a period of 4 different years, a few years in between, and looking at the overall revenue stream for Activision Blizzard. Starting out, we'll look at 2008, which was around the time period I believe Bobby Kotick came to the company, or maybe a little after. But looking first at 2008 revenue for Activision Blizzard, quite impressive. For its revenue was $3,026,000,000, which is not bad. Then we skip a few years to look at 2012 for Activision Blizzard. They had done $4,856,000,000 in total revenue. Then skip to 2016, they would do $6,608,000,000. And then last, let's look at 2012 revenue. They would end up jumping up another quite nice chunk to revenue of being $8,086,000,000. So we go from, in 2008, we started at a little over $3 billion in revenue, to now being over $8 billion in revenue in 2020. So, in a period of basically 12 years, their overall average revenue stream went up $5 billion in that period of time. So, needless to say, Activision Blizzard grew up quite a bit in overall revenue stream. I mean, going from a little over 3 billion to over 8 billion, that's quite a hefty increase. A lot of it has to do with, of course, strategies Poppycock would use, of course, things like specifically microtransactions being a big thing, and that's no surprise because it was in the 2010s when Activision Blizzard would end up buying and doing a corporate takeover of a smaller development company called King's Digital, which is best well known for making mobile games like Candy Crush Saga, which, of course, now Microsoft will control. But King's Digital is a very big revenue stream for Activision Blizzard. On average, Candy Crush Saga on its own pulls in around one can pull in on average 1 to 1.5 billion in revenue just from Candy Crush because of microtransactions and stuff. So yeah, a decent percentage of their yearly revenue comes off of their mobile division, which I kind of would expect in all honesty. But with that said, let's look at 2021, last year. Specifically, let's look at some of the basic profit overall for Activision Blizzard based on their quarterly earnings for a period of 3 months. Quarter one of last year, Activision Blizzard did $619 million in total profit for their first quarter, which is quite good. Their second quarter did very well. Quarter two, they did 876 million, and quarter four has not been released yet. Actual solid, definite numbers. But quarter two, they did 876 million, which is quite impressive for a quarter. And their third quarter, they did $639 million. So, needless to say, Activision Blizzard is still doing very strong numbers no matter what. To put into somewhat comparison, let's look at a few game companies and stuff in comparison to their profits. Like, let's look at the overall estimated supposed company worth from basically the stock domain, from the stock market numbers. First up, let's look at mostly just very well-known game software developers, as well as influence in hardware as well. But we'll start off, let's look at a very long-term game company that's been around for decades. That being Capcom. Of course, Japanese company. Currently, according to most estimates as of right now, Capcom is estimated to be around 4 billion, or rather $4.88 billion. So you must say $4.880 billion. So just shy of 5 billion. So Capcom is pretty big in size, nevertheless, needless to say, though that means that they are smaller than even a company like Bethesda. Also, let's look at stock numbers, for instance. Like with Capcom, their stock is currently $22.87 a share. Currently down 1.21%. Also, CD Projekt Red, which is estimated right now at 5.30 billion, and stock $49.95 a share. They are currently even right now, so there's no earnings, or rather profit or loss on their shares right now. Now, that's kind of surprising given the whole situation CD Projekt Red is in, and I am admittedly surprised that they're actually bigger than Capcom, at least in actual worth. Also, look next at Square Enix. Square Enix is just shy of 6 billion, estimated to be $5.980 billion, with their stock currently going for $50.12 a share, which is up 0.53% on their shares. Next, Ubisoft, which is definitely bigger, but still, in comparison to Activision Blizzard, relatively small. Ubisoft is currently estimated to be, as an example, 7.29, or rather $7,290,000,000. $58.69 for a share of their stock right now, down 1.92%. Take-Two Interactive is actually much larger than I would have thought. They're bigger than Bethesda. Take-Two Interactive is currently estimated to be around $19 billion as a company, which is quite impressive. And their stock is $164.76 a share, which is up just 0.18%. Next, Unity Software, which has been responsible for many different game companies, or rather, game franchises and stuff throughout the years. Even if you may not know the company, Unity Software, trust me, they're very influential. They're estimated right now at $31,200,000,000. Also, their stock is currently at $106.79, down 5.96%, however. Then Electronic Arts, which as of right now is at $39,310,000,000. Currently at $139 a share, which is up 0.9%. Also, Nintendo, which is estimated, at least as of right now, in market worth, is at $55,670,000,000. Current exchange rate and stuff has Nintendo at $474.55 a share, which is actually down 1.11% on their stock. Also, Activision Blizzard, like mentioned, currently estimated at $63,360,000,000, with their stock currently at $81.35, down 0.5%. Sony, as a whole, is estimated right now to be worth $139,850,000,000. Their stock currently is at $111.63 a share, which is down 1.76%. Then, second to last, let's look at Juggernaut Company in China, tech company, as well as big as a major investor in also, of course, Epic Games and many other tech areas. That being Tencent. Tencent is estimated to be right now at $573 billion. Yes, that's quite impressive. $573 billion. With their stock estimated to be just shy of $60 a share, which is down 1.39%. Last but not least, of course, Microsoft. As of right now, Microsoft is estimated to be just a little bit below $2.3 trillion in company worth. Currently, their stock is at $296 a share, which is down 1.85%. But this is just to put in comparison the sheer size and magnitude of Activision Blizzard. Because the fact is, at the end of the day, it is huge, and you look at many franchises and stuff that Microsoft gets out of this deal. Many big name titles, as well as games that possibly Microsoft could always have the ability to, I guess you could say, revive, which I would like to see. Specifically, the big name titles, of course, that people think of when they think of Activision Blizzard. One, like I mentioned, King's Digital, which is part of that, which means they get the control of Candy Crush Saga, which on average does pull in over $1 billion a year in revenue, which is insane. But that's definitely a quite nice profit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't start having pre-downloaded Candy Crush Saga, basically, and all Microsoft stuff. Also, keep in mind big name titles that also now they control. Stuff like Warcraft / World of Warcraft includes, of course, stuff like StarCraft, which is huge in South Korea and other places in Asia. StarCraft is a juggernaut game. World of Warcraft is not what it once was in size, but it still has a yearly membership of still over 2 million registered members, which is still pretty good for the most part. Though compared to Final Fantasy XIV, that's nothing nowadays. But still, that's a steady flow, a stream of hundreds of millions of dollars annually going to World of Warcraft. Of course, that also gives them control of games series such as, of course, obviously, Diablo is another big one. Especially with the improved, or I guess you could say remastered or whatever, version of Diablo 2, as well as control of Diablo 3 and the upcoming Diablo 4. And of course, obviously, this means all these games will probably also be, of course, day one added to, obviously, Game Pass, which is no surprise. This is a way to basically blow any competition out of the water, since this will include both the normal Xbox Game Pass as well as, of course, PC Game Pass. But you have many other big name titles and stuff as well that Activision Blizzard controls. Besides that stuff, of course, you have the upcoming Overwatch 2, which is a humongous game, even though I can never get into most Blizzard stuff. Outside of Diablo 3, not the biggest fan of Blizzard in general. Of course, it includes also games like Hearthstone. On the other side of the spectrum, you have stuff like Tony Hawk's series, which is definitely a big thing, has a nostalgia factor for me. As well as, of course, I would say games, obviously huge things like Crash Bandicoot, as well as Spyro, and the fact that includes things like Toys to Life. The question is, could Microsoft maybe decide to try to resurrect Skylanders? Hard to say, but it's a good thing to market towards kids. Also, looking at other franchises and stuff, probably the biggest most people, of course, keep bringing up is obviously Call of Duty. And I get why people bring it up constantly because it is a humongous profit making franchise that is guaranteed billions of dollars in revenue and guaranteed easy money. So for now, I don't think Phil Spencer or Microsoft will decide to make it exclusive. Some people will argue, yeah, they will, because that's a good reason to force people incentive to get the Series X. I agree, but at the same time, look at the sales numbers on PS4 and stuff. Sorry. But nevertheless, it does give a point across. Sorry about that, I had to freeze, get water. But anyways, quickly wrap this up, but also including many other things like franchises that I think a lot of people seem to forget actually that Activision Blizzard actually owns themselves. Specifically, I would like to see them try to revive series like Vigilante 8, which was a big thing for my teenage years, one of my favorite games. Arguably, I like Vigilante 8 more than games like Twisted Metal, though I love Twisted Metal. I love vehicular combat games. But for me, I always enjoyed Vigilante A little bit more. I liked some of the stage designs better, and I'm especially a big fan of a lot of the music for the games. But with that said, yeah, this is a big deal, and I think definitely we need to keep close eye and see how this could change the effect of the industry. And the fact Activision Blizzard is actually basically revenue-wise and stuff is pretty much tied neck and neck with Nintendo for the most part. So that's a scary thought to think basically Microsoft took over a company that's basically as big as Nintendo. Thank goodness at least Sony is a much bigger company. But I do feel at the end of the day this could really affect definitely things like with Call of Duty. I do think for now they will continue releasing on PlayStation just because of the actual profit they can make off of it for now. Because the fact is, when you look at best-selling games on the PS4, Call of Duty is always at the top of the list, just like in PS3. And the fact, I don't think they're going to risk for now those like possible billions of dollars and stuff of easy money right now once everything is confirmed and stuff next year for the merger to go through, or rather buyout, we'll see how things go. But definitely Call of Duty and stuff I see will become probably day one to Game Pass. So the fact that they'll have Call of Duty as well as Overwatch, as well as games like, of course, Halo. I mean, basically, for a first-person shooter fan, this is going to be like a dream come true with Game Pass. And because see with other franchises. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe. And I'll see you again soon enough. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. Stay safe with all the crazes going on in the world right now. I'll see you again soon enough.